thank you for the time. And I'll kind of get into NextTech Ohio in a second, what we're doing. I guess first of all, how many of you have heard of NextTech Ohio so far? And a few of you, and there's a reason for that. So I'll explain that to a point. But a few of you we've talked to as we haven't really relaunched yet within the area. How many of you are born and raised Toledo like I am? So we have very few, some people not from here, newer to here, probably what, past couple years, school, college, something like that. How many of you have thought of Toledo as an innovation center at all? Few? Very few of you. Now I was just talking to Nate a little bit about this, and so I'm born and raised Toledo, left for undergrad and grad work, and came back 19 years ago, so I'm a little bit older and have seen some progression. But a lot of people have forgotten what Toledo was and where we started, way back to Libby, to Champion Spark Plug, to, I mean, you look at Owens Corning, OI, Healthcare REIT, Welltower now, which was HR Manor Care REIT before. There are a whole host of companies that started out of Toledo and actually built for the entire nation. Jeep, everything else. So you go back to the 1800s, 1900s. How many of you have ever gone to the library website and checked out all the pictures in the 1920s, 1930s? I mean, you look down Summit Street, it looks like downtown Chicago. I mean, it's amazing. You would not recognize what Toledo was all the way through to the 70s, pretty much, when then they started really building the skyscraper that you see today, which I know my father was involved with, and others probably here know quite a few people that were involved in that stake. And then we had kind of a lull, right? I mean, national companies came in, all our companies sold internationally. A lot of middle management came into town. Everyone was focused on the 80-hour week and shareholder value, and it was shareholder value on Wall Street. It's what'd you do to me yesterday versus the future, so focus on the core. And some of the innovation kind of was lost. We do have several companies that still do that, PTI for one of them, and many others. But what's interesting now, over the past 30, 40 years, because what some of you new to Toledo, you're seeing this whole resurgence, right? You live downtown, Uber everywhere, walk everywhere. When I moved back 19 years ago, I was unfortunately driving downtown over to Monroe Street, South Toledo, trying to find that buzz and excitement somewhere. And did quite a bit. But again, when we were starting out back in Toledo 19 years ago, a lot of it was bankers, lawyers, real estate people getting together. We formalized Epic, trying to get the business community and young people kind of staying here. And the sessions that we would see was not this. I mean, again, we'd have our monthly meetings, our weekly meetings, but it was just, social. It was trying to deal with the local politics. Hey, we do want Costco here. We do want these other things going on. How do we help solve education for TPS? All those types of things. But what's interesting, over the past couple of years, I was gone. I was living here, traveling the country for a software company, and came back, worked for ProMedica internally, and then submitted a couple concepts of ProMedica Innovations, which got me tied in with NextTech. And as I started to get back in the community, so I've been involved with about every nonprofit, a lot of different things through my years, but started to get exposed again to what's going on in the region, and started to attend these things that Stuart and Keith were creating, and Nate's creating, and having conversations with so many other people, Mark Pinnell and through UT, and Jason Daniels back in town, and we're seeing all these things and realizing you guys, many of you here have done startups. You worked for startups, you have these tech ideas, you have these concepts, you think outside the box, geez, we can do this. And that's really exciting to see. And it really uplifted me to say, how do we keep it going and take it to the next level? And the fact that we can now build this region for the next 100 years, right? We have a escape. We can do all this. We can do whatever we want. And it's already starting. And we have some of our older leaders with some dollars willing to help too, which makes a big change. So it's really exciting to see what's going on. I just hope you guys see that as well as I do. For me, it's been 19 years in the making. For you guys, you're just kind of starting off and taking it from there. So how many of you have an idea, right? Whether it's early stage, you've been going on for a few years, right? Where do you go to get help? Right? Internet, just search out, what can I find? Who helps you with validation? Who helps you with business forecasting, planning, the marketing strategy? Where do you go for any of that? Do you know? NextTech. That's the plan. So, and that's been the struggle. And it's been a struggle in a lot of communities. You go up to Detroit, you see Tech Town going on, Ann Arbor starting to get this kind of impetus going, but you have a lot of silos. We have the Toledo Chamber with a small business development center. We have UT, the Minority Business Development Center. We have the Regional Growth Partnership that focuses on Jobs Ohio and growth there. Have the Port Authority going and doing these different things. The Chamber, Toledo Chamber, the Chamber Partnership doing all these different aspects. And a lot of them, you have SIFT, Center for Innovation and Food Technology, plus manufacturing. And then there are state grants and state resources. But part of the struggle is there's not one place to go, right, to identify and connect with all those. And so that's what NextTech is for our region now. And that's what we're trying to be, is that hub and spoke, that one place to go. We're not going to duplicate all those agencies I'm doing, but we're trying to make the connections and help project plan and help you along the process to make sure we're helping you fit in the right place. And so what NextTech is for Northwest Ohio, we are a consulting agency committed to developing culture of innovation, assisting entrepreneurs on the path to commercialization. So you have an idea, you might have different levels of that. It's just a concept sometimes, maybe you're early stage, but we're here to help you and consult with you, and we're free. That's the other big thing. We're a free resource to help you along the process, okay? We are part of the Ohio Third Frontier Fund. Who's familiar with Ohio Third Frontier? Okay, a few of us. So everyone's heard of Silicon Valley, right? And everybody wants to replicate Silicon Valley. Now Silicon Valley didn't just exist. Someone had to start there, move their business there, started funding people and helping others, right? And connecting. So the state of Ohio back in 2007 started the Ohio Third Frontier Fund, which they created a $2 billion bond fund. And the sole focus of these dollars for the whole state to create an impetus and a culture around innovation, entrepreneurship, specific around technology. Now we'll get into definitions of technology, has changed over time. My traditional thought process prior to more of this was software, right? Just software, but it's much broader than just software. So the state of Ohio created multiple programs under that. One of those programs they call the Entrepreneurial Services Provider Program. Say that real fast, 10 times. ESP, we just call it ESP. And so the focus of the ESP was for 6 areas of the state: Northwest Ohio, Northeast Ohio, Dayton, Columbus, Cincinnati, and Southeast Ohio, to have private dollars raised to apply for a grant with the state, so matching dollars, to create this consulting agency. Okay? So that's how we're started. The state has other programs within there, so they have some actually what they call pre-seed funds, which actually will take ownership, but they could raise $250,000, $500,000 for you. They have other grants and programs that run through the universities if they own intellectual property in the universities to help support non-dilutive dollars. We have some dollars, I'll go into it in a little bit, but we are the program, the ESP program for the state. So today, as you look at, I kind of explained the chamber partnership, MBDC, SBDC, SIFT, Jobs Ohio, the port, we are trying to fill that gap of the startup innovation stuff. The ESP program today is our only program today. We're looking to grow, expand that down the road, but that is our first funding mechanism to get us up and running, okay? So what are we looking for, and who do we really help with and really focus on from the long term? So again, tech-enabled concepts that have an Ohio presence. And what does that mean? Well, the way I look at it is new products, new processes, intellectual property type stuff. So to qualify, literally the state just says they're tech enabled. So it's a qualified deal. So if you have an idea and you submit an application that you want to work with us, and that's all we have you do. And we say, okay, first thing we're going to say, are you tech enabled and are going to be in Ohio? You don't have to have a company yet at this stage. So tech enabled, that's very broad. And I'll go into more about that. But the state even gets to, are you using technology to market your product and different stuff? So what we're not going to be is this great coffee shop. We can't assist them, but we would refer somebody like that to a SCORE, to the chamber, to the SBDC, the MBDC, all those types of things, and make sure we're coordinating it. Makes sense, kind of the differentiator there, kind of who we're working with. And then what we're doing is really working with you, the entrepreneur, the inventor, and some people have different definitions for that, along these various startup life cycle processes. Our goal is really to get you to that growth and sustainability, if not even getting into the market entry. So you could be at the imagining stage and start working with us. So I just have an idea. I have no clue where to go. It's a device. I don't know if it's validated. I don't know who would buy it. I don't know anything. Still come to us. We'll help you through those processes and explore, is it something that's viable? Or maybe we might want to pivot it, or you know what, great idea, there's already something there, but keep coming up with them. You may already be in the demonstrating stage. You may already have your product. You may not be in the black financially, but you're kind of slowly producing it, you've got a market, but you really need help to really take yourself to that higher level of a company and growth. And so that's where we can come in and we would fill a gap, right? We're gonna sit down with you and identify a SWOT analysis, a gap analysis. Where can we help? And sometimes in these stages, it may be that we're just making connections locally to the actual channel partners to help get you to that next level. You know, earlier we may be doing a lot of project planning related, sitting down with you more in depth. So it could be a lot of different types of relationships we're working with you, but really trying to get you to that growth and sustainability aspect. So again, when we talk about more about who do we work with, the way the state defines some things for us, because we are a state grant, so everything we're going to associate from a standpoint of any of our time, because we have to track every hour we spend in it, any of the dollars we spend, supplies, outreach, or we do have some dollars that I'll go into this that we can spend on our concepts. We have to explain where your concept fits within here, right? And so are you sensors? Now sensors can be broken down into many different things. Is that healthcare related? Is that temperature? Is it water related? I mean, those are all kinds of things that we break them down into. Advanced materials, advanced manufacturing, energy, biolife sciences, software, and other. So we are broad in nature of how we can work with people. And so, but what I would say is if you have an idea and you're not sure, please don't self-select yourself out of working with us. Or if you talk to somebody else out there, just please come talk to us, submit an application, or even just give us a call, because even if it doesn't fit here, or we may be able to find a fit that you may not realize it, but then we want to make sure we're getting you the assistance you need, whether it's through one of the other agencies. All right, so we want to make sure that we're helping as much as we can from that standpoint. So please don't self-select. Like this quote, Katie Delicata, one of my employees, found this: without social cohesion, the human race wouldn't be here. We're not formidable enough to survive without the tactics, rules, and strategies that allow people to work together. So what we're really focused on here, what we're talking about, and I'll go into it, is NextTech's role is to work with everybody in the region and the state and everywhere we can to help you and help move these concepts forward. We can't do it alone. We're not going to be alone. We can't work in a silo. We'll never succeed that way, right? The whole region comes together around you, even though it may take more time, and you're going to have a lifestyle business versus $1 billion unicorn. That's great, but we can't do it alone. And so as NextTech, we're never going to pretend that we know everything. But we're going to pull people in who can assist and help along the process. As we go there, we were started in this collaborative aspect as well. So we have 4 collaborators that helped create us. So when I said the state grant and private dollars to match to create us, ProMedica, University of Toledo, Mercy Health System, and BGSU are the 4 that came together for the region to create NextTech. So they put in dollars to match the state dollars. So we already work with them today. Each of the 4 have various staff and programs that they're all running. So I don't know if some of you have heard of ProMedica Innovations. So ProMedica Innovations is at Wildwood. They are focused on bio life sciences, health IT, things like that. And so they're going to focus that realm. University of Toledo has a broader range. They may have some medical stuff, they have some engineering, they have agriculture, they have chemistry, they have a lot of different aspects there. Mercy Health, again, is going to be more towards the health life sciences. BGSU, they have a lot of agriculture, they have computer tech, they have graphic design, they have education. So what we're doing with them is really pulling everybody together around that. So when you think about NextTech, we've got our hub, we've got all 4 of those together. All 4 have staff. All 4 have entrepreneurs and residents or client managers help them. They all have resources, and we're bringing that around a cohesiveness, but then we're pulling in other community resources like I mentioned. We're pulling in mentors. We're working with SCORE, who is a regional mentorship program, help expand them versus recreating the wheel to provide these resources for you, people in the world, in that expertise. And by the way, SCORE is a national organization. They have mentors across the country we be tapping into. Regional services companies. So what I mean there is we have so much talent in this town that people have no clue. I mean, look at Scott Heiser, we worked with him a little bit, what Stuart and Keith have, what Nate has. Everybody here has various companies that they've been working on, what Jason does on the consulting side. We have Heart and Communicate and Thread and North Design. We have Owens Corning, Dana, PTI. I mean, we could go on and on over these resources of great talent in this region. And so we do have the ability to spend some dollars on your concept. So if we're going through this gap analysis and we say, we really need a market strategy. Let's go engage North Design or Communicate or Thread or Hanson or whoever it is we're going to work with. Or hey, we need a prototype developed on the software side. Let's go talk to Scott or White Label or Arkita or Avatar or all these other companies that we have and the talent that we have in the region. So we really are trying to pull into our resources, again, coming together as a team to pull that together. Funding. Going to get to the point where your company, your concept needs a lot more money to move along. The fundraising, the Series A, the B, the angels, the venture capital, grants, federal grants, state grants. So we're building that web of all those opportunities that we're going to try to help identify for you as we go forward and help you get there, right? Not just say, oh, go do the ask. How do we make sure we got the right message, the right pitch deck to help you go that process? So we're trying to be that hub and spoke and project manage that along for you. Again, as we talk about community resources, we kind of went through just a few of them out there. Regional company services, mentioned some of those pieces of what we have access to. And again, just building out more and more. Every day I learn more companies in this town that you would never realize of the resources that are available and the connections they have globally. It's absolutely amazing. And that's one thing I try to point out. If you were in Chicago and you're just walking out, what's your chance of calling up a CEO of a major Fortune 100, 500 company, right? In Toledo, we can pick up the phone to any single one here, and they have boards, they have companies, they have departments, they have connections globally. I mean, it's amazing how much they want to help. And so when we talk about these different opportunities here, you have to realize there's a lot of support here for you and a lot of connections. Funding, again, one of the things we have within our grant structure is what we call purchase services, and I kind of mentioned that. Again, small dollars that we could spend to help you move to that next level to really get to the additional funding. But then again, there's SBIR grants, there's TTR grants, there's venture capital, there's Alpha, there's other state grants. So those are all things that we're going to start building webs and connections for to try to make sure that we're connecting our concepts to become successful. The mentorship, I mentioned SCORE and all their skills and experience. And one of the things we're going to be doing there is really trying to expand their outreach. So they're in 14 counties here. There are a lot of retirees, but we're actually going to be expanding. We want you guys as mentors as well. We're trying to get people our age who have the experience in the world today to make sure that we're mentoring people at the same time. So our current state, our grant was voted on and approved March 29th of this year. It took us about 6 months to get it signed by the state. So we actually really just got up and running about 3 months ago. And the reason you haven't heard much about NextTech is we really haven't put much out there yet. And that's because we've been building our staff, building our infrastructure, building all the processes to get in place so that we can help you seamlessly. But even in that time frame, we've had 150 or more plus concepts that have been coming to us because we've been sitting down with people like Stuart and Keith and Scott and everybody else, Nate, making connections. And it wouldn't be successful without you guys. And you're gonna hear more about us. We'll probably do a relaunch more so than this in the next month as we have a few more staff. Bowling Green's hiring right now, UT's just hired. I'm hiring another 2 people by the end of the year, and ProMedica's starting to hire. So we're gonna have all these people out there really trying to build the web around us. And then we've engaged Finley, we're trying to engage a lot of other organizations out there to help us. And these are just ones we threw out there as things we've worked with. Some are older, some have been around. I don't know how many of you have heard of Twine It? Seen the photo booth? A few of you. So we're working with them. They are a they are a social network around events. And so they have the physical kind of photo booth type thing, but you can also, it's the app where you can download on your phone. And so you can have all your friends at the same event, wedding, or anything else like that. And everyone's taking pictures and they all go to one central location. You can all share and see. You can put them on all your Twitter and Facebook and everything else. But then actually you can track the data of who's come to that. So if you think of the corporate side of conferences, and you're at a conference and you have a booth, and you're engaging people in photographs and everything else, well, they're signing up, you're gathering all their data and their information, their name, their address, so now you can market to them, and you can reach out to them, and then track how many people have come to your different aspects. There's actually one in the Blarney. So Blarney has one in the back, so if there's a photo kind of iPad app there, take your pictures. The Blarney should be reaching out to you guys, hey, come here. So it's a great thing where we're actually helping them pivot a little bit and expand to the different markets. Dan Fitz has his Fitz reaction bars. So I think, Scott, you've probably seen that in the past. Kind of helping him pivot. It's actually workout, but it's got these little metal balls that go within there, and they really help you with your balance and everything else. Different way of thinking about your weightlifting, trying to help him pivot a little bit more than where people took him in the past. I always have fun trying to talk about She Intimate Fitness, which we talked a little bit. Scott's familiar with them, trying to get them off. She's selling right now. It's female skincare cleansing products for the intimate location. So I'll just leave it at that. And she's trying to get out in the social media aspect. That's really gonna be her play as we go forward. Streamside.us, Randall Tucker down in Finley. He is a serial inventor, 75 plus some patents, used to be with Cooper Tire and a lot of different stuff. He grew up fishing up north in Michigan in these streams, and he really focused on technology that will help clean the streams, water clean, the algae issues, but also removing of silts to make sure the streams are really flowing properly. So he has a couple we're working with. This one is the irrigator, and so that sits on top of the water, gets the oxygenation going, but then he has the pockets where you can put UV and phosphate and other aspects within there, tying into this other silt removal. So it's really kind of cool technology he already has ready to go. We just got to get all our regional governments together and say, hey, let's start using these things. Those are just a few. I mean, tons of concepts coming out of UT, coming out of ProMedica, Mercy starting to get going, Bowling Green with their collab lab. So in the library there, they built a little sharing space about this big here where professors and students can come in and just talk about different concepts and ideas. Finley's got some coming out. And then the hosts of ideas that are just coming from people like yourself is amazing. And keep them coming because it's really exciting. And now what we're not going to do is try to pick one and say, oh, we're going to focus on this one because we think this one's going to make it. We are here to help all of you because we don't know, right? And to us, if we can just help you move from X to Y, we've been successful. if we return your call and we're able to help you understand maybe this isn't the right path and maybe we can tweak, we were successful, right? We want to provide value to you, and that's the most important thing. So again, kind of what success looks like. Again, for us, yes, we get measured by the state. So I'll be honest from that. They like to, they track us every quarter. I have my first quarterly report due tomorrow, so I got some more writing to do. But they track us on deal flow. So how many concepts come in within those different areas. They look how many we can convert to clients, which are basically just saying that we think we're going to work with you for a longer period of time to see where this might go. Then we track sales growth, employee growth, minority women aspects to that, any dollars we help raise for you, new employees, things like that. So, but for us, what we really are focused on is the most important thing to me. If you call me and we sit down and we're able to just, hey, we're able to jump your sales, we're able to, you felt value because we made a connection for you with somebody else. That's the most important factor, because then we're gonna start building a culture, right? People are gonna start talking, we had success here, we did this. That's gonna be more important than anything for the region. So how do you get involved? Various ways. We have our website, www.ntohio.com. There's a couple links there that if you are an entrepreneur and eventually have an idea, you can just quickly click that, get started. There's a simple application to run through, ask you very basic questions. What's the problem you're trying to solve? Where are you trying to go? What's your market? Do you have any intellectual property? Things like that. Don't worry how you answer them, because it just gets us into the system. Even if you don't have a company formed, you don't have IP, that's fine, because then that just helps us understand where we need to go with you with certain aspects. If you like to be a mentor, love to be a mentor. We have a thing there. Just let us know if you want to be a mentor. More than happy to talk to you about that. And then share the story. I mean, we're like I said, we're just starting to get out there. We'll do a lot more press coming out in the next month as we've kind of got the team in place. But tell people, I mean, we'll meet with anybody, because that's what we're here for. We're here to be a resource for you and help you move forward. Thanks.